I was intrigued because for a composer to want to come up to the middle of New Hampshire to create their piece, that's really something. It's a sign of dedication. So this film made by Alan and the music created by Alan, I feel, is a real strong statement of belief and dedication, and I'm proud to stand with that and be a part of it.
So I'm Alan Blackman. I'm a composer and pianist from Baltimore, Maryland. Been coming to Avaloq for 3 years now, and we love it up here. It's a beautiful retreat. It's a great space to work on new projects. This year we're extra excited because we're going to premiere a new multimedia work of mine called Once Upon a Prairie. And it's a little bit of a historical and current event expose on the loss of the grasslands in America.
I mean, it was great, but if you're using your ear to be like, oh, I know where the melody goes here, he'll extend.
I'm happy to have an incredible band up here with me. I've got my regular trio, which is Max Murray on bass and Frank Russo on drums. We've been playing together for over 20 years. And then we have guest artist Jonathan Epley on guitar, and the amazing Dave Douglas from New York is here on trumpet. We've been workshopping this piece and really sort of fine-tuning all the timings with the video for a few days now. It's just been incredible to finally hear the work with, you know, these incredible musicians bringing it to life.
My name is Frank Russo, and I'm living in the Baltimore, DC area right now. That's where I've met Alan, originally from New York, and I was in the Navy band down there, and afterwards stayed.
My name's Max Murray. I'm the bass player in this project, and this trio of Blackman, Murray, Russo has been together as its own entity for I'm guessing it's about 20 years.
My name is Jonathan Epley. I play guitar with this group. Alan has hired me in the past to work with him and Frank, and with Max, like a piano trio plus one. I play in another band with Frank, so I've been aware of those guys for quite some time.
So, real quick, the tune melody in, was that not how we did it before? Is that why we didn't do the melody in the reality? Yes. Okay, and I gave this,
So I'm Dave Douglas, and Alan invited me up here to play trumpet on his score, Once Upon a Prairie. I've never been to Avaloq before. It's a wonderful place and a great place to rehearse and create what we're doing tonight.
we need to be aware that the form could abruptly stop. And I think, especially because you'll have clear sight-lines with Frank, but if you guys are on the same page, we'll fall in line.
Right there? Yeah, let's take a look at the pickups and I'll start the video about 5 seconds after we start.
Do we carry right into the next one, or is there a pause here?
There's a slight pause if we just talk through right here.
Okay.
About 20 seconds or something like that. Whenever people hear about this project, Once Upon a Prairie, the first thing they always say to me is, how is a jazz piano player from Baltimore, Maryland interested in doing anything about the prairie, right? So my wife's family were homesteaders in North Dakota in the early 1900s, and they kept the family farm. And my wife grew up going every summer to North Dakota to the farm, and she would ride horses bareback, and she would just, you know, live on the prairie all day and all night, and loved it. So we got married, and she took me out there for the first time, and I was like, wow. It's like big sky country, and it's like pretty amazing. So through her, I've developed a connection with that land. And recently, they sold the farm. And the reason why they sold the farm is because of how much it's changed in North Dakota since the latest oil boom and fracking, has sort of taken over. So there's crime for the first time in the small towns, and there's no housing, and there's roughnecks that are living in trailers parked on the side of the road.
Music has so many different roles and can be contextualized or monetized in so many different ways. But in this particular, to have the luxury of several days to tell the story, I mean, it's not like hey, I'm going to make a hit record and then somebody can put it on their device and stream it and just enjoy that 4-minute or 5-minute clip. Here's an hour and 7 minutes of storytelling.
And so I thought, well, I need to look into this, and I need to figure out how we got here and what caused all this. And so I sort of roughed out a proposal for a grant and started finalizing like what I would do, how I would envision telling this story. And as I was fortunate enough to get some of that funding, I sort of chiseled away at the idea and narrowed down what we were going to do, and finally settled upon sort of doing a documentary, starting from the beginning and going all the way to now, and just sort of catching everyone up to speed. I feel like it's flyover country, right? And I feel like most of America doesn't really know what that's like, myself included. So I just felt like it was a timely story. I mean, I hadn't been to North Dakota in over 10 years until this project. So I got a wonderful photographer named Glenn McClure to take a couple of trips with me out there, and we literally spent all day, every day, driving all over North Dakota, Montana, Kansas, Oklahoma, mile after mile, just wherever we saw something interesting, we would stop and film. So I figured while he's doing camera work, I should be doing something. So I bought a drone, and I taught myself how to do drone photography, and I started capturing, the stuff that was maybe inaccessible from the road or inaccessible for the photographer.
Alan had explained like the basic concept of what we were doing, but until yesterday, hadn't really seen any of his footage. And that was kind of like game changer, just like being able to take in some of the drone footage and like kind of put the music that we're playing into that context and perspective. I grew up in a very, I wouldn't say super environmentally conscious, but growing up in the Appalachian Mountains, there was a sense of like, this is important, this is sacred, like this is worth conserving and protecting.
First time, and I think it impacted all of us, in a moving way, and it certainly gave us, I think, more of a feeling for what the audience is going to experience, and so that was cool, and I think that's one of the reasons why we moved the gear around. After watching that, we were set up over there, and it was like, oh yeah, we need to integrate a little bit more.
It's a soundtrack. We're performing it live, so it has maybe a little different feel than if you're just going to go into a studio and record it and process a compressed, non-wide dynamic type of thing. There's lots of quiet parts of this, and there's some roaring parts to this too. And hopefully the audience is ready for that whole spectrum, because that's nature also, quiet and serene, and then ferocious. And to be able to link those two together and be part of that creative team, it's a responsibility that I'm happy to shoulder.
I'll just say this. I think, you know, I think Alan touched upon it a little bit, is you find people that have similar interests, but priorities. And for instance, in music, yeah, we all like the same kind of music, but maybe for different reasons. And, you know, what stirs me about music and really drives my passion is interaction and emotion, you know, not necessarily perfectionism, but you know, just
It's been wonderful because the music is very lyrical, which I love, but Alan's also given me a lot of freedom to play with inflection and feeling and to inject what I like to think of as the truth in the statement of a melody or the delivery of a song.
Honestly, I didn't really understand. I thought I understood it, but I didn't really understand it until, I mean, even playing through the music without seeing the movie, I started to piece things together. But you know, no, the movie glues it all together.
Right? Not only that, I need someone who's not just like, this is a gig. I need them to be like, what's the passion behind this, so that I can grab onto that.
The best thing about this is A, getting to play music with my friends, getting to play music with a legendary person I would consider a hero, and be able to like create this multimedia project that I think is important for people to see. I know watching it myself, outside of the musical part, just seeing some of those images and reading some of that text, like it's super heavy material, but I think it's important.
I think something really special about creating this here at Avaloq Farms is that so much of it is outdoors, and so much of it is about our natural world and about our resources and what we have to do to work together to survive as a species. Yeah. You know, if we weren't here, the prairie would be fine. So it's kind of up to us to figure out, you know, and the prairie would be fine without us. But we'd like to be here. I'd like my children and my children's children to be here and to be able to celebrate not only the natural world, but also our shared culture, our humanity, which is all the arts, literature, poetry, dance. It's what makes us who we are, and like the sustaining of the environment, it's one of the areas that our elected representatives find the least important to fund. And so I feel like Alan's film really makes a solid contribution to the argument that we need to tend better to our world.